Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube review of Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 8. All in, baby, because we're all in. I'm very excited that Discovery is back. I don't know about you guys, but I've been missing my disco. So, whoever thought it's a crazy time when us Trekkies thought we'd be missing Discovery. I'm joined by my normal cohort in crime, Zamario. How you doing, buddy?
I'm fucking radical, man. Yeah. How are you?
I'm okay. And of course, joined by the Stan Lee of fan films himself, the Ayatollah of cameo olas, V-Man. How you doing?
Oh shit! It gets weirder and weirder with you two. I swear to God, this is why I come back to YouTube because you guys are so fucking weird.
Listen, we
But
just
I'm
we just
doing
like
great,
making
man.
fun.
Right. No, I'm doing good, man. And you're right. It's a strange day when it'd be like, man, we missed Discovery, but it was great. It was a great welcome. It was a great welcome back. So
We also have Daniel Vance here saying greetings and salutations, everyone.
Danielle,
Greetings, Nancy.
And Jim's Landscape LLC #1. Hello,
My,
Commodore Boone is here.
my
oh
patio
yeah.
needs to be done, Jim.
My backyard. Well, I don't know. All right, so let's jump into this episode, guys. Do we want to go through the breakdown, or do we want to talk about overall thoughts first?
I think overall thoughts just kind of get that. I mean, since it's been so long since Discovery's been here, I think overall thoughts and then kind of break it down.
Okay. V-Man, since you started, why don't you go ahead and keep going?
No peacemaker, sacrilege.
I do apologize, A-Train. We'll be talking about that a bit tomorrow.
I think overall it was kind of a slow episode for kind of being back. I was kind of looking forward to learning more about the new species. I'm not really interested in seeing Book and Michael fight. It's kind of like a lover's quarrel, a 32nd century version of I Love Lucy. Of how are they going to fix it and resolve it? For me, is just like, we waited how many weeks just to kind of see them squabble. I kind of want to get to the mystery part of it, and that was kind of the problem last season of what is the mystery of the burn. My problem with the first 7 episodes of this season was they kind of crammed 7 episodes, that they could have done in like 2. And I felt like they really didn't do a lot with this one. I loved seeing the different species. The shapeshifter was cool. That new alien was kind of cool. But it's kind of like, man, you could have just done like maybe the first part of the episode with the book stuff. It's just kind of the over dramatization. It feels more like a CW show than a Star Trek show. So I wish they'd kind of get past that and move on to the mystery part of it. But I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just I kind of wish they'd move past the relationship shit.
Okay, Zam.
I'm just responding to A-Train here. Well, I am somebody who's been playing poker for 20 years. And some of the stuff I see in Hollywood when it comes to poker triggers the fuck out of me. And unfortunately, some of the things I saw in this episode triggered the living fuck out of me. It really did.
Was it some of the constant signals that they were showing that
right in front of the fucking dealer? And also, like, look, I you have to understand, yeah. After and sorry for bringing this up, but after 9/11, you know who airport security went to improve their security? They went to the fucking casinos. Yeah, because the casinos never want to lose any money. So they've got all the most high-tech fucking software, gadget, facial recognition technology, you fucking name it. Yeah, to stop thievery from happening within their casinos. And that's what they kind of use to stop, potential or future terrorist acts happening at airports or going onto aeroplanes. You're telling me they don't have the capability of knowing that there's a fucking shapeshifter in there? Is fucking ridiculous. Honestly, I found shit like that fucking ridiculous. And then obviously all the signaling and shit like that. Like it's one of those stupid American films about baseball. You know what I mean? It's like, are you seriously kidding me here? They're doing it right in front of this satanic looking alien who's the fucking dealer. and he's not being able to pick up on these things. These two fucking dickheads who want to be the new Osira, they're not able to pick up on these things. Oh man, I wanted to smack my head against the fucking table. And it was good. It was good seeing Owu, having a bit more of a presence in this episode, and that was probably the saving grace. I like the hustle they did. Kind of reminded me of Enter the Dragon. If you've seen that, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't expect you to have seen it, Bobby Black, but nevertheless, it was an okay episode, and I'm glad Discovery's back.
I mean, I'm just glad we got our Star Trek version of Casino Royale. I mean, that's pretty much what it felt like. I mean, except with some fighting and stuff like that. But but yeah, I thought that this episode was really good. I didn't get triggered by. I mean, I agree with you, Zam. Like, it was very blatant. I'm like, really? Like, we can't. And then the tapping on the table, I'm like, come on, like, and I get that part did. I was kind of like, come on, guys. I did like the OU stuff because what I've been bitching about this whole since the beginning is all the other all the other character like side characters just don't get time to shine, and so I was very happy that they got some time to shine, or got some time to shine in this episode. I even remember her name now. I mean, someone has made it on this show when I remember their freaking name because I'm so bad at names. Like, I mean, I don't even
Joanna Owu.
I don't even remember what this guy's name is down here. I think it's like Count.
Yeah, and that's why you keep making stuff up about me. Stanley. You got too many nicknames. Yeah. No, like the thing about this episode is, it's with as much. They just keep going back to the relationship stuff, and that was the only thing. Like, I love the fight that they did. That was cool because it gave somebody else something to do. And what they do right with the episode, like, they did really good. It's just, like I said, they keep going back to that relationship thing. And I think, Zam brought up a good point with the tap in the face, tap in the table. It's like, to me, that was the only thing that kind of talked down to the audience. It's like, we're smarter than that. We know they're going in. You just told us that they were working together. Like, you really didn't need that part. And I mean, especially with her kind of going over the top of, talking about, oh, he does this and he does this and he does, it's like, you don't need those things too. To me, it's like, that was the only part that kind of made us, like we were fucking second graders. We don't need that. So that was kind of talking down to, you didn't need to do that. So that's the only time where, Star Trek kind of gets things wrong, is when you talk down to your audience. I think that's when films do, a disservice to the audience in general, so.
Well, I always feel like Star Trek is on the back foot when they feel like, oh, we can't overcomplicate things because then we'll scare off the casual fans. And it's like, I'm sorry, like, if a casual fan can't get interested in something they don't understand, then maybe they shouldn't be watching the show at all.
Well, I don't think your casual fan's going to be watching on streaming on Paramount Plus on something that, your casual fan's not watching this. I'm sorry, they probably aren't. It is meant for your more hardcore person. I'll be right back, guys. I got to go clock in real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, we can begin with the breakdown then. So we start off where they're on the reeling from when Tarka and Book stole the not Slipstream. What am I thinking of? The Spore Drive, the prototype Spore Drive, and they took off, and so they're on their way, and they escaped at the end of the last episode several weeks ago. And so now we are seeing the Starfleet side where it's like, okay, they're reeling from that. They're putting out pretty much APVs on these on Book and Tarka, right? I think it's Tarka. So Starfleet's reeling. The president's like, how in the world? Like, she's talking to Vance. How did you not see this from Tarka? She's talking to Michael, and she's like, how in the world did you not see this from Book? How did you neither of you not see this? And they were both just like, they kind of were just eating shit right there, and just it didn't.
Yeah, she was a bit bitchy there, the president. I'm thinking to myself, you expect these guys to be able to predict the fucking future? If that's the case,
Yeah.
then give me the lottery numbers right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I thought she was a little heavy-handed with that, but I understand. Like,
Yeah.
I understand, like, everybody's stressed right now and everything like that. And so, I mean, not much to this opening other than, you know, your typical setting up the plot of this episode, which is chasing down Book and Tarka and getting, you know, and beating them to the punch. So, throughout this conversation, they do mention the fact that they are not sending Michael after Book and Tarka just because they are, you know, she is way too close to this, which I agree. But in typical Michael fashion, she finds a loophole where she can insert herself into this.
That's not. It was she. Don't blame her because that was Admiral France.
Well, okay, I'm getting to that. Just stop. Okay, so she so she does she has so okay, so basically the president puts basically says you're too close to this, you need to be out. You need to go and you need to keep investigating the DME, right? D what is it? DME?
The DMA.
DMA. I knew it was something weird. I didn't remember what it was. But yeah, so the DMA is what they need to go investigate, while Vance has other Starfleet ships out there looking for him. They're going, you know, because I think they whittled it down that they need not trilithium, some kind of rare tri-cobalt,
It looked
whatever.
It looked like a fucking like an anal dildo, you know, the way it was in that fucking. It's the only way I could describe it. But let me just quickly explain here to A Train. Basically, A Train, there is this giant entity in space. It's so fucking big. It's bigger than fucking solar systems. It's humongous. And this thing in space is destroying planets and space itself. It's eating it up. You know, it's like some sort of giant. I mean, this thing is humongous. I mean, like I said, it's bigger than solar systems. That's how big it is. And because it's so deadly and it's destroying planets as well, Starfleet, you know, the Star Trek people, they're trying to figure out a way of stopping it. And this one particular scientist has a way of stopping it, but his way could cause a lot of damage, a lot of aftermath damage. It's a bit like, you know, using a nuclear bomb to stop something and then not accounting for a nuclear winter. That's what his method could be. And so they're trying to stop them obtaining the materials they need to create this sort of space bomb.
Basically, the DMA is a horny husband, and the galaxy is edible underwear. So I mean, it's just going after it. So
Yeah,
come on, you guys know. Shut up, Zam. You know what? It's funny. I can't even with you.
it's your dad jokes, man. This is what happens when you have children. You end up not knowing how to fucking tell jokes anymore.
That was a joke. It made
was
sense.
Fucking awful.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So
All right.
anyway, so okay, so the other starship's going after Book and Tarka, and then then Michael has been tasked with finding more about the DMA. So they all kind of go, but then Vance comes to Michael later and basically says, "Look, you know Book better than anybody. We need you to find out where he is going, and you need to do your Michael thing, where you insert yourself into the plot and make it about you and go after Book." So, and she does it. She does a fantastic job of it. But the great thing is this time she brought Owu with her. So, I mean, you know, I'm glad to see more for Owu to do. That's very nice. So yeah, so after that,
Yeah, I guess so.
What?
Galactus type shit. Yeah, it's like space
Yeah.
Galactus.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's like Galactus is the DME and the universe is edible underwear. I don't know.
Yeah. There you go with those dad jokes again.
I don't care. You know what? Whatever.
Okay.
So anyway, so we move over to Book and Tarka, and they're trying to figure out where they're going to go. They know they can't go through basic channels to get the ore. So what they do is, you know, Book's like, well, I might know a place. And of course, in typical fashion, he owes this person money still from a job from before, and he gets swindled out of it. So they get to this casino, and you know, it's kind of like the Han Solo Lando thing. You know, like he
Yeah, playing Sabak and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, that's the feeling I got, was more like a Han Solo Lando thing.
It's just, like these casinos and everything about it. It's just so Earth-like. Like the music they're playing, that it's not. It doesn't sound remotely alien. It sounds like the sort of music you'd hear in most fucking clubs. There's nothing alien about it. The location, the gambling and stuff like that. Even they even play poker, for fuck's sake. It was so Earth-like. It kind of it was really it was really noticeable, and I found it hard to shake off, and it pissed me off.
No,
You
not
know?
me. I didn't really.
I
I
want
mean,
I want to share something with you, by the way. I'm going to quickly share it on screen.
Oh boy.
Oh no, keep talking, keep talking.
Oh, so I mean, I didn't feel that way. I mean, but look at Cork's Bar. Cork's Bar looks like a bar, and I mean, that doesn't feel alien enough. So I mean, I guess you have a point, but at the same time, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So, but anyway, so Book knows where to go, and Michael thinks to go to the same place. But the reason why she's going is because she is going after some rare star charts that were cataloged by a race that had dealings with the Orion Syndicate. Right? Did I get that right? I think I got it right. So
the Emerald Chain, isn't it?
or Emerald Chain, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
not the
the
Orion
Orions.
Syndicate. The Orions were part of it, but they weren't. It wasn't about them necessarily. It was called the Emerald Chain.
Yeah. One of the other things was one of the other things.
I'm both, by the way. Sorry, just to answer A-Train's question. I am 100% both. I love them both equally. There is no one. I would say these two, my fellow Americans here, they probably think a little bit different. I'm pretty sure they're more on the Star Trek side, but me, right down the fucking middle. I love them both. If I could fucking have a threesome with Star Trek and Star Wars alongside me, I would.
I feel like there's a meme that's gonna come from that. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think about these opening moments of them kind of setting the stage for where they're going, what they're doing, why they're there, everything like that?
It was, like I said earlier, it was very Earth-like, and everything about it, the casino, fucking planet, and stuff like that. We're not surprised they created an alien species to look like Satan. That was pretty cool. But yeah. But this meme, by the way, just tells it all. Just got a bit of a tangent here. We have a Klingon who'll kill you if you cheat. We've got an android who can card count. We've got a fucking a Betazoid who can read your emotions. We've got a guy with a fucking visor that can see through cards, and yet fucking Riker is the best player. So there you go.
Sounds like Sounds like Riker had Burnhamitis. I mean, a very contagious disease for plot convenience.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm glad. Daniel Vance, I'm glad you're on the same trip as me. I did find the fact that they had this satanic looking alien, and he kind of reminded me of like Quark to a degree. He was very shady. He kept changing the rules all the time, but they were desperate for this particular material. They gave him so much fucking latinum, But I also like the fact that when Michael and Owu came in, Joanna Owu, but to be more precise, if that's her first name, which is pretty cool. I like the fact that they also did that hustle with the fights. I'm not sure if Owu knew that she was doing a hustle or not. It was hard to tell, but they did a hustle and they kept raising the odds so that when they would finally win, they would win a shitload of money, and that was pretty cool as well. And
I'm pretty sure she knew. I mean,
they were in on it. You're saying?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she knew because I mean she was the one doing the fighting, so maybe they both were thinking along the same lines and just didn't really they just kind of assumed the other one knew. Maybe I don't know. But I don't know. Okay, so Vance, what was your thoughts about everything leading up to kind of the end of the first act of this episode where where we got into the casino and everything and the stage being set and everything like that.
The problem with doing like a kind of a Star Wars type vibe, like I always feel like they try to go for that type atmosphere and they always kind of fail. Is you you don't have the aliens that have like the different type sizes or the CGI type stuff like of a species 8472 where things like feel and look type alien. Like you brought up like Quarks doesn't even feel alien. Like it kind of did in the early days of DS9, but once you got used to the environment, like it just felt like another, a bar that we could go when we go do like cosplay type stuff. It just didn't feel alien enough. Like the 32nd century, so far in the future where everything just feels like completely alien. I remember when we got to when we first got to the 32nd century, it was so abnormal to see like them like open their, just open the palm of their hand and like things just like spout up and they're like, like kind of like Iron Manning everything. So it was okay. But I always hate when they do stuff and they kind of fail. Like I liked last season when we went to that kind of ore processing place of not the Orion Syndicate. Zam just said it. What was
Emerald
it?
Chain.
Emerald Chain.
Yeah. Because it felt like, so far in the future, like things just fell apart. I'd kind of like to see like what do bars in the so far future look like. It's to me there was really no distinction between this and another restaurant on DS9 or a casino on DS9. Like there was just nothing to distinguish this from being so far in the future. Like when you go to the Starbase, you can tell you're on the Starbase. It looks very futury. To me, this episode just felt very filler like.
Side quest.
What's that now?
Like a side quest because they couldn't really do what they wanted to do. They had to still get some additional materials, which was the side quest. Yeah,
exactly. And like I was so excited when we got that cliffhanger at the last one, and then like we it finally was coming back, and I was like, man, I can't wait one to watch it. And then when Cheeto was like, hey, we're going to be doing the thing today, you want to join? I was like, fuck yeah, And then we got this, and I was like, oh, because it just felt like filler. And that's one thing. Like I know I've bitched. I do the thing with Josh about the Flash TV show, but I hate watching that show because it's 24 episodes, and I'd say probably 14, 15 of those shows are filler. As opposed to like Titans, which is 10 episodes of at least a solid story. I mean, it may not be the best, but at least it's a solid, cohesive. This is what we want to tell. And with Discovery, God damn it! Like this, did we really need this one? I mean, this felt more like 15 minutes of an episode that could have been something better, And like I said, I really enjoyed seeing that one, the one lady fight. That was cool, but to me, I really didn't need it. It could have been spent doing something else. And we got the doctor cleaning, but what? I mean, I did think it was cute how he told the robot to go fuck off. Like,
yeah, I love that. I actually love that.
Yeah, he's like, fuck off, go. I in my mind, I'm thinking, because I always call those robots Rosie because they remind me of Rosie from the fucking Jetsons. I was like, yeah, fuck off, Rosie. So I mean, there were moments I liked. It's just as a whole, I'm sitting here going, wait, how many more episodes of this do we have? Is this really how we wanted to spend our time? Because I don't know anything more about Michael that I knew before. I don't know anything about Book that I didn't know before. I don't know anything about anybody that I really didn't know before.
Owu can fight.
Okay. Hey. I mean, great. I mean, to me, is this a story that I really needed for the season? And to me, the answer is not really. The one episode last season that we had, the one lady with the eye thing, the red-hairish lady with, last season, like when she had that post-traumatic stress and they're all sitting around the table, like that was kind of a fillerish episode, but that one moment, like, I mean, it was surrounded by all this stuff where it's like, that to me was like a really important moment. Like I was waiting for that here, and I just never really got anything out of this episode. So, I mean, it was good, but so.
No, I get you. I just want to quickly get to Daniel Vance's comment. How does a casino monitor Starfleet channels and not know what's up between Book and Michael? I agree. Half of Starfleet communications have to be about Michael.
Now that's everybody's favorite TV show or favorite reality show in the 32nd century.
All I know is that a super sentient species in the Barrier doesn't care about sentient species and apparently enjoys mining. Yeah, that was a bit of a twist, by the way. We'll get to that for sure, but yeah. But yeah, sorry, just going on about filler. See, I'm a bit here and there with filler sometimes because I look sometimes as filler is a way of giving us character development and stuff like that. But I'm not even sure we got that. Yeah, we got conflict, but we never, it's. And I think even how many episodes are there of Disco 14?
I think so. Maybe 13.
Even then, 13, 14 episodes. You're going to get at least 3 episodes of filler, aren't you? It's inevitable, but I don't mind sometimes as long as it's done right. This one wasn't done right as far as I was concerned. I got very triggered with the gambling scenes, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy Hugh screaming at that droid. That really made my day. That was one of my favorite scenes of this episode. Didn't like the president too much. She was being unnecessarily unapologetic. I think she's more caring about her position and stuff like that.
She's a politician. Of course she is.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, this is an interesting point, though, because this is one of the first times in Star Trek, besides like Star Trek 6 and Star Trek 4, I think, that we are seeing the Federation president like in action, involved in something. They always talk about the president. They always, the United Federation of Planets president, blah blah blah. But you hardly ever see the United Federation of Planets, the Federation president. I'm not going to say the United Federation every time. The Federation president, like this is actually, I feel like it's really good because now we kind of get to see some of the back end politics of the Federation, which granted is in the 32nd century. I would more like to see it in like the Picard or even TNG era, and just kind of see how that goes. I know that I think it's Hidden Frontier did a web series called Starfleet 1, which was a audio podcast or an audio book that was based on the Federation president and the Federation, like the Air Force One version of that ship, but it was primarily based around the president, which I enjoyed a lot of, because it's something you don't see a lot of currently in Star Trek. Is they never talk about the president, so it's nice to see that part of it, I think. Also, you don't usually get to see member worlds joining the Federation. I mean, you always see the diplomatic parts where they're, like where Picard's meeting and diplomaticking the races and talking to them, and they're being all kosher and nice, and but at the same time they're just, so I feel like that the presidential part of it, like I feel like this is a good part of Star Trek that we have not seen yet. And that with her, and yeah, of course she's a politician. Of course she's going to be shady as shit. I mean, that's basically the definition of politician when you look it up. But anyway, so I digress.
Oh, by the way, regarding Michael being involved in this, Saru said it best. Like, even though she's close to this, she's probably the best person to rein Book in. Obviously, she failed, but she came pretty darn close, and nobody else was going to get as close to getting to Book than her.
Yeah, so, no, I don't disagree with you. As I said, it's just, it's your typical, whatever. Okay, so good old Red Foreman. Yeah, the president. It's like, don't make me come over there and get these Kittimer Accords signed and I'll put my foot up your ass. You guys don't remember Red Foreman?
But you bring up the Kittimer.
No.
Okay.
You bring up the Kittimer Accords. One thing I have been wondering, I know a lot of people online have been, like the Klingons, the Romulans.
Mm-hmm.
We still haven't seen any real sign of them. What happened to them? Where are they at politically?
I haven't seen the Klingons at all.
Yeah, no. Well,
Yeah, no,
I've posed that question a couple times even before the season started. I was like, I want to see what the Ferengi, the Klingon, like all the major powers of the
All
Alpha
the
Quadrant and Beta Quadrant are doing at this point.
familiar aliens,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
There are definitely,
Well,
but I feel like they're all under the guise of the Federation. I don't want that. I want to see what the actual race of people is doing, like the people of Ferenginar, the people of, and as you can tell, I really want to see how the Ferenginar is, because I feel like a fun thing would be is if the Ferengi were split into two different sects at this point, where it's like one was like the financial and profit ones, and then the other ones go back to their base tradition.
That was my theory.
No, that was mine. I said that.
No, I said it, yeah, because I said to you, yeah, regarding Nog, because Nog was the first Ferengi to join Starfleet, and now we're 1,000 years into the future, how his influence by joining Starfleet kind of split the Ferengi race. Some of them wanted to still be these profiteering, money hoarders, whilst others wanted to take their life in a different direction after, being influenced by Nog, who wanted to be an explorer, who joined Starfleet. And because now we're 1,000 years into the future, we can see the repercussions of all of that, because we're 1,000 years in the future. And obviously, one particular Ferengi is a captain, as we've already seen, but we haven't actually heard this person speak or anything like that. So, yeah.
Well, Daniel Vance brought up on one of the shows that I had on my channel tonight. It was going through the comments of I think it was Break Free, or it was one of the films. But he brought up something, and I was like, man, that's a great after credit scene for a film that I'm going to work into, just because I think it's such an interesting idea. But what happens to the away missions of those people that are on like a planet, and then the ships blow up. Like, to me, that would be horrifying. Could you imagine? And I immediately I got off that thing that I got off the thing because I was reading the comments and responding. And as soon as I saw him put that, I called my friend Paul, who does Raincross. I said, dude, I got the, I what do you think? And he was like, oh, I love it. I said, okay, film it. But could you imagine being those people, and then you're about to communicate with your ship, and all of a sudden you look up, and there are these bright, several bright lights. And you're like, what the hell is that? And someone's scanning with the tricorder, and they're like, every ship in orbit just blew up. And like, they have no idea what's going on, but the audience knows, fuck, that's the fucking burn. Like, could you imagine being horrified by that? Like, holy shit, dude, what the fuck? To me, that's a great, like, that's so scary. I mean, they have so much potential, and that's why it bothers me so much to see these filler episodes, because it's like you have so much potential to tell these type of stories, and the horrors of what happened during these segments. That, I mean, it's such great potential. I digress. Go ahead with what you guys were talking about.
No, I think that's absolutely a fantastic concept, to tell you the truth. I would like to see something like that played out. I do also, it also then reminded me of, the question earlier. I think, I don't know if it was yourself or Cheeto said, regarding Klingons and Romulans and stuff. Because of the burn, we weren't able to really come across them because there was no fuel source to get to them. But now that's been obviously dealt with, it would be nice to, see those particular species, because they are some of the most familiar species in Star Trek. It's always good to get new aliens, but Klingons. I mean, without that, Klingons, Romulans. Romulans we have seen. I'll take that back. We've seen Romulans. We've seen tons of them. They're on
I was about to say they were on Navarre.
Yeah, they're on Navarre, but Klingons. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Klingons, we haven't seen. We haven't seen any of them. I've seen more fucking Cardassians on that chat, with fucking Kanye West and shit, than I have on this. So we need to get some of the old tropes back. I want to see more about the fucking Ferengi and stuff like that. You're absolutely right. But yeah,
we've seen more. We've seen more of the alien Morn than we have the Klingons.
Yeah,
I know everybody's like all up in arms about the Morn. What is it called? What is he called again?
I don't. All I know is Morn. I don't even know.
Yeah,
I know the name. Yeah, I don't remember.
I know Daniel Vance will know the name.
Probably.
I take it. I take a lack of race to akin to the lack of certain nationalities and to where some species didn't survive the war immediately after the burn. Yeah, I can imagine that. How long did the burn last for?
100 years or 50 years? I
Really?
don't remember. It was something like that.
Really?
I think I know around the galactic, and this is beta canon because the one story that you did the audio for, we actually touch upon that. The radiation from the burn lasted 100 years for the galactic barrier. So all that stuff lasted, at least the radiation for the galactic barrier, which for those that don't know, that's the barrier for outside the Milky Way. That shit lasted 100 years. They couldn't go outside the galactic barrier or send communications through the galactic barrier for 100 years. So all that shit lasted for 100 years after the burn. So
You think a
but that's
planet's a planet which is made out of dilithium? I mean, I do understand, how big a planet is, and they can mine it for as much dilithium as you could possibly can. But even the planet surely wouldn't have enough dilithium for a planet made out of dilithium. Wouldn't have enough for the whole galaxy. Eventually, that would run out. No.
No, I agree. I thought they had a way of manufacturing a synthetic dilithium back in back in next gen or something. Like they can recharge dilithium. Now, I mean, granted, if the
Scotty did
dilithium
it in.
exploded, then yeah, I guess it would. I guess
Well,
that.
yeah.
I mean, I guess
Also,
you can't recharge what's not there anymore. But I mean, maybe that's the kit. Maybe they just have, as long as they have enough that they can distribute and keep recharging it. But eventually, it's going to lose its potency.
well, they had to use nuclear power in Star Trek 4, because
well,
Chekhov was looking for the nuclear vessels, and then they got that to recharge the dilithium crystals. Yeah.
well,
I thought
my
there was-
question is this: if they had access to slipstream technology, and this was completely available to them, why are they still using warp drive? I mean, that would be like, we have access to solar power, but yet we're still using gas stuff. And this is centuries from now, not like now where it's still being adapted, but this is centuries after, they have slipstream technology and it's easily accessible, and it's easily done. And why are they still using warp drive? To me, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me why they'd still be using warp drive. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I've never understood. Daniel Vance says that they were able to restructure the crystals, but they weren't able to make it. Oh, yeah.
So that's
Like
what I'm saying is, like, if you get a base out there, then you can keep recharging it. But eventually, even rechargeable batteries go bad. I mean, after so many recharges. So, I mean, you're right. Like I was thinking the same thing too about the planet. I'm like, wait a minute. So that they're passing out all this dilithium, but eventually, push is going to come to shove, and then people are going to be fighting, and then you're going to have the dilithium wars, and then it's just going to be all sorts of bad. So
I think we need to get to the big twist of this episode. I mean, obviously after Book winning a fucking No Limit, they were playing No Limit Hold'em, weren't they? Tell me you guys know a bit about poker. Oh, it's not just me. No, they were playing No Limit fucking Hold'em.
I can play Skip-Bo.
I can play Go Fish. I can play War. I can play Rummy.
They would definitely look, because the dealer was dealing at 3 cards on the table. He was dealing at cards on the table, and everyone's got 2 cards in their hand. That was definitely No Limit Hold'em. But fair enough, whatever. But after Book 1 and he fucked off, even though Michael should have tried to apprehend him, but no, he actually left a tracker on his device. We find out what the fucking DMA truly is. It's a fucking mining machine. It mines this new material, which is the first time I heard of it. What's it called? A xenomorph or something like that?
Not xenomorph. I don't remember.
I can't remember. It's a weird name, but apparently there's an abundance of it, and this thing's mining it. And I like what not Daniel Vance. I liked what Admiral Vance said. He said,
I like what Daniel Vance said too.
But he said, if this is their mining equipment, I hate to see what their weapons are. And I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, but this thing is not even a weapon. It's there to mine some next material that we've never heard of before, which apparently very powerful and can do lots of shit. And I thought, wow. I mean, all right, regardless of all of that, the fact that it's a mining device and not a weapon was a great twist, in my opinion.
Boronite.
I had no idea. I'll admit, we were at the part where I had no idea what they were talking about. So I mean, I didn't. I was lost, and I was like, "What the fuck are we babbling about?" I mean, it felt more techno babble than Voyager shit. So, I mean, I understood. Hey, it's mining. It's not a weapon. And I was like, "Oh, okay, we're fucked." Okay, then why don't you just say we're fucked? I mean, we've put that word
Because
"fucked"
whenever
in
they
there.
drop
This
an
would be
F-bomb in
appropriate.
Star Trek, everybody freaks out. There's no cussing in Star Trek. I can't watch this with my 3-year-old.
You sound like Gilbert Gottfried.
I've always said is that when they brought the fucking Doctor back from Star Trek 4, it kind of affected society because she was somebody from the 80s and everyone started F-bombing. Even though this goes before that era, which kind of goes against what I'm trying to say, but nevertheless, that's the only explanation I can come up with.
Well, yeah,
regarding Picard.
That's the explanation of Picard. But yeah, like
no.
Like it's just everybody needs to get with the times.
No,
just like everybody, like the original series Starship should look exactly the same. I'm like,
Tim Allen said it best in Galaxy Quest. It's a TV show. Like it's
yeah.
Like we are.
I mean, you know, the pilot episode, you got Spock touching some flowers and he's smiling his ass off. You know what I mean? So like, so
it was just a moment of weakness. It's okay. He doesn't give into emotions that much, but when he does, he goes to rehab and he's okay.
Dude, Spock was awesome in the cage. It was the cage or where no man is common for. He's like, full scatters at I power or some shit like that, like fucking yelling like a motherfucker, like, oh hell yeah, Spock is awesome. And he's smiling, he's grinning. I mean, he's got more teeth than Orville Redenbacher, like that guy.
And people forget he's half human. Yeah, so people always forget that. Yeah, they think of Spock, the fucking Vulcan, who was born from a woman, but somehow from a human woman, but somehow has green blood, which does bug the fuck out of me. But nevertheless, he is half human, and that's why I very much appreciate that scene where he told Kim Cattrall to go fuck herself when he slapped the tricorder out of her hand because he was really angry with the betrayal. I love that scene.
I think we just need to take scenes of Star Trek and just like overdub it with like our language, like "go fuck yourself" and like "eat a dick" and like just I think it'd be a lot better.
I watch a it's called Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and basically they do that. They take the original anime and then they dub over it their stuff. And they love Dragon Ball, so it's absolutely fucking hilarious because it's so meta. It's not even funny, and it's some of the best stuff I've never laughed so hard in my life watching it. But
and by the way, I need to say this now before I forget. But I've always wanted a Star Trek Star Wars crossover, and I know 2 ways we can do it. There are 2 ways we can genuinely do it.
Cross
first
the
of
streams.
First of all, we can have it as a holodeck program. So
Santa brings them together.
No, but we know, like
Life Day.
We could just say like somebody decides that they want to experience what Starfleet would be like against, it's like Star Wars would be something Starfleet knows about because of old human movies and stuff like that. So they come across a popular trilogy or a saga of films called Star Wars, and they thought this is really cool. What would it be like if Starfleet had to, fight these guys, and then they can have a holographic simulation of that? Or secondly, the Q, and you know what I mean by that. The Q could just do it. You know what I mean? Fucking Palpatine style, do it. You know what I mean?
Do it now.
Well, there's how many, like my thing has always been like there's how many universes out there, and like I don't know why Star Wars can't be like one of them, where like if they go to another universe like that's a whole nother universe where all that shit can be, and because I mean Earth is never mentioned in Star Wars, so why can't all that shit
it becomes like the Force and stuff, the living Force, which is around everything and anything. And how come we've never really experienced it and they have? And
Space
you
magic.
know,
maybe. Well, I mean, like technically, we don't have a galactic barrier around the Milky Way, technically. But I mean, how do we know, like shit, like over there, like maybe they don't have like a galactic barrier and everything inside
they
that
do.
is the Force.
They do have a galactic barrier. It's called the I forgot the name now, but there's only so far in space they can travel because the is it the outer zone or what's it called again? Oh man, I forgot the name of it. But like planets like Tatooine are right on the edge. Oh, Daniel Vance, please help me on this, man.
I don't know, but there's a mirror universe where there's a Christmas special where Wesley Crusher has to get back to Enterprise for Captain Picard Day. I'd watch the shit out of that. Not even lying. We have the technology. Let's do it. Deep fake Wesley Crusher going to trying to get back to Picard Day.
That's the
end of the podcast right there.
I need to find out what the name of that. Oh no, I'm getting Galaxy Edge. I'm right on the edge of the Star Wars universe, and I'm getting shit for Galaxy's Edge. For fuck's sake. But yeah, I can't believe I've forgotten the name. It's really bugging me now. They can't leave. Space is massive, and there's so much of it, and there's lots of undiscovered places or whatever. But they're still kind of contained in this huge, humongous chunk of space, and they can't really leave it. And yeah, that's all I remember. I know. Coruscant is right in the middle. Its coordinates is 0000 or some shit like that.
It's right in the center of the barrier, is what it says.
I think so, but it's got like another name to it, like the outer zone or the ultra zone or the no limit or some shit like that. But yeah, Galaxy's Edge. I keep getting.
See, I was just assumed that if you wanted to do like a Star Trek and Star Wars, like a proper one, like where a Federation ship fought the Empire or something, like right. You could do like a wormhole where they just went to like that universe where they're like you're exploring like this wormhole. A probe goes through the wormhole and it the remnants is like 2 or 3 galaxies over. They're like they would know of the galaxy because obviously they have star charts or whatnot, but they go through the wormhole and they end up over there where here's the Empire, or something. Like to me, like that's what I would do. Just make it part of canon. Therefore, technically, Star Wars would be.
Why can't Star Wars be taking place in the Andromeda Galaxy? They don't say it's in the Milky Way galaxy. Like in the Andromeda Galaxy is very similar to our galaxy. So it's like it's a spiral galaxy. So why not just say there's Star Wars over here in this galaxy and Star Trek's over here in this galaxy? That's the Andromeda Galaxy. We call that the Andromeda Galaxy, but they call it something completely different because obviously they don't know.
Right. My only thing is that, and this is me being a bit nitpicky here, but I don't want Earth to be in the Star Wars universe.
No, I don't
in any capacity. So that's why I've always come up with either the holodeck way or Q snapping his fingers and somehow merging these two things together somehow, by seeing Star Wars or knowing about, because he's not omnipotent almost. So he'll know about Star Wars and say, you know what? I want you guys to fuck with with the Empire. See how you guys handle that, and they'll just go warp drive and the Empire will never be able to catch him because light speed is fucking too slow. But you know what I mean? But nevertheless, that's something hopefully we could have one day, but I very much fucking doubt it. So yeah.
I honestly, true, in my opinion, which I know it's an opinion, but I wouldn't want it. I don't want it. I keep them separate. I mean, yeah, you can do some. You're right. It can happen with Q or dimensional shifts or dimensional turmoil or whatever. But the Law and Order theme goes off, and then you got like the Enterprise and a Star Destroyer going at it. So that's an old deep fake, or that's an old deep joke. Just so you guys know. But yeah, I mean, I think I enjoyed this episode more than you guys did. I do agree with you guys, like with the cards and stuff like that. We did. The one thing you didn't mention is that and I know, well, you mentioned it, but we didn't touch on it. We see our first changeling in this century.
It's the same as what's his face, Odo, that style. And by the way, the edge of the universe
Yes.
is called the unknown regions, which is why they can't navigate through there. Remember, Ben Solo went through there, but he had a map and stuff like that, and was able to travel through there. But
I thought
that part of
were you
space,
talking about the Outer Rim? Is that what you're talking about?
and it's called the unknown regions. That's what it's
Oh.
called, which is this area which surrounds the known regions.
Well,
And it's hard to travel through there. It's like flying through turbulence.
okay. Well, I mean,
Anyway.
the areas are the deep core worlds, colonies, inner rim, expansion region, mid rim, outer rim, unknown regions, and wild space. What's wild
Yeah.
space?
I like
Space
a ring
gone
myself.
wild.
Yeah. So
Okay,
what were
so
you
we're talking
saying
about
earlier?
so we saw our first changelings in the
Yes.
32nd century. What did you guys think of the animation? Because I know obviously we had Odo back in the 90s who kind of looked like this CGI mess that got better over time.
I like it turned into a treble, but really this changeling offered nothing. It was just there so the lads could stop this person from cheating.
I was kind of hoping there would be like when they brought changelings in, there'd be a whole episode dedicated to them. Like as I said, I kind of wanted them to go and see what the Dominion's up to, what all these other superpowers and stuff are up to. So I don't know. I mean, yeah,
This thing was a gambling cheat.
I love the fact that he turned into a tribble and just fucking hauled ass out of there. Like that
Yeah.
was fucking. That was
I'm
so
like, I didn't
fucking
know a
Scooby
tribble could
Doo,
move that
artsy fartsy cute. What's that?
I didn't know a triple could move that fast.
I know that. I mean, it was so cute. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but as I said earlier regarding security, you're telling me that in the 31st century they don't have the tech to figure out what there's a changeling in there.
I mean,
We had it in the
24th century.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had it in the 24th century. Starfleet headquarters and everything. You know, it's if you throw logic out the window and common sense, but then again, I mean, would they really have that available at every but then again, like
in a casino, I think you would.
Yeah.
You know,
security. Yeah, like you brought up the 9/11 stuff. They went to
yeah.
For security stuff. They went to casino places for I mean, so they probably would have that. So I mean, it's it's just one of those things where you kind of got to shrug your shoulders at some of the stuff. Be like, highlight. We saw a changeling. Okay, let's turn our brain off now. Sadly, you kind of have to do that with some of these newer shows. Otherwise, at least for me, I'll start sounding like those old men that say, "Get off my lawn." For me. I'll start nitpicking everything.
You do make a good point, but I just guess knowing how the world works when it comes and being somebody who's played poker for like 20 years in casinos, have gambled and all of that sort of stuff, you just kind of know how that organization works. So it can't help but play on your mind. There could be all other organizations which I know fuck all about, and some other person could bring up the logical fallacies that occur with that, and I wouldn't be totally aware of it. But this is my fucking ballpark, so I couldn't stop playing on my fucking mind.
I get it.
It sticks out at you. Yeah, no, I completely get it. Sticks out at you. Yeah,
and I get it because I mean that's like me with Spider-Man. I mean, I think Tobey Maguire is a completely horrid Spider-Man, and I mean, like it just irks me to no end that he's Spider-Man. So, I mean, not Daniel Vance. I mean, V-Man will tell you I can go
so many fucking Vances
about it.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you guys have
bless your heart, man?
Anything else you guys have to add about this episode? What do you think we're going to get next week? I mean, now that Book and what's his name? See, now I forgot his name again.
Tarkin or Tarek or Takadal
Tarka,
or whatever.
Yeah, like Tarka or something like that. So now that they have the anal dildo or whatever Zam called it.
The anal dildo.
It's you can call it the anal. It looked like more like a drill, so you can call it the anal drill. How about that? But now that they have that,
that's why I was calling it a dildo. It looks like it's got the twisting shapes. But no, it's got the tracker device on it. Remember that?
Yeah. So now that I mean, what do you think? What do you think is in store? Like, does Book and Tarka know where they're going? Are they going to the Galactic Barrier now? Like, is that
they stopped because it will take Tarka 24 hours to build his super weapon. If you remember that from the exhibition earlier, so this is Starfleet's moment to strike, to get them while they're stationary, and that's what's going to happen next, in my opinion. I really did think this would be the end of Book and Burnham, but in a way, Book's sort of imagination with his father was right. She'd always choose Starfleet over him.
I think this season is the end of Book. I think
if they kill him off, I'll be very upset with the writing.
I don't know. I think he's kind of like Moby Dick right now. Like,
no, but
or,
if they
I'm
break
sorry,
up,
Ahab.
if they break, no, but look, they can break up without him having to fucking die.
No, but
what I mean?
no, but it's more than that. He's more
Yeah.
like Ahab right now, and he's hunting that white whale. Like, I mean, it's and then what happened in Moby Dick? He died.
He's got tunnel vision. Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think because they broke up that he should die. I'm just saying,
Parker's gonna die. Parker's the one who's gonna die out of them too, in my opinion.
See, but I think he's just the mustache twirling, like, not villain, but like the guy who is going to he's obviously got goals too, because he even said he's trying to get to his other universe, whatever that is.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's the Star Wars universe you guys were talking about. So I mean, he's actually from Alderaan. He's gonna go back to a hunk of rocks.
What episode was this again? Episode 8.
8.
Wow, we still got a way to go.
Oh yeah, this is second half. We just started the second half.
So I don't think much is going to get resolved. I think more shit's going to hit the fan before things start improving. But we haven't seen these aliens that have created this gigantic mining machine.
I don't think we'll see them until the penultimate episode.
It'll be interesting to see how they pan out. I hope they do an 8472 on them and give them a very unique look. I would like that, because one of my issues with Star Trek is how humanoid all the fucking aliens are. So I really want a very unique look for these aliens, for sure. The mining race better be so advanced that they see us as ants, because blind mining on the part of sentient species that will communicate after the fact seems unlikely. Yeah, well, technologically they are beyond advanced. This particular species, they might be giants as well.
I was just gonna say, they were talking about like this barrier thing that they have put up is 1,000, like is what 1,000, like, or it can cover a couple star systems or something.
It's solar system wide. You saw like how it encompassed whole fucking planets and stuff like that. I mean, it's the size of it is amazing, and obviously the power something like that requires is next level too.
Van says his internet's glitching, so I'll just pull him out of here for right now. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed this episode. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I mean, I know that you guys had your little gripes, but why don't you go ahead and slap a rating on that? Oh, Vance is back.
I'll give it.
Sorry, my internet's
glitchy. I saw your message.
If it just didn't trigger me so much. I mean, there are some things in films where they do gambling scenes which trigger me way more than this one, because of this thing called string betting, where somebody say, well, I'll see you 50 and I'll raise you 100. No one does that in poker. No one does that at all. Yeah, it's called string betting. You can't do shit like that, But luckily for me, this episode didn't do that. And so it didn't do that. I'll give this episode a 6. 6 out of 10.
V-Man.
I'd have to say, for me, it was probably about a 3. I was not impressed with it. It was too much of the same old shit of, relationship with her and him. And at this point, I don't really care about it. If the only way this would be redeemed for me would be is if after all this stuff happens, we don't have any relationship with her and him, and it's just kind of done. I mean, I did not care for this episode. I mean, there were a couple highlights, but it was far and few between. So show me a cohesive story, and not filler. So I'm kind of tired of filler. I mean, to me, I just wasn't impressed.
No, I think he's glitching out. I was done with the episode halfway through and stayed for the overall story plot points.
Yeah, I think that like I said, the revelation at the end of this super weapon being a mining weapon was a fascinating revelation. To know that it wasn't a weapon at all, that it's just there to mine a particular mineral was beyond fascinating, and it got me curious regarding the aliens that are doing this. I'm curious in that sense. The DMA has got me curious, and we did get some, even though we had all this filler, which Vance is absolutely correct about. We did get some revelation on the DMA itself, knowing what its true purpose is, and that was probably worth a lot of the time, in my opinion. I'm very much looking forward to where they go next. But yeah, this is gonna be a very hard show to pay off, in my opinion, because I don't want there to be any tech. Eventually, they're gonna overcome this space eco disaster. They're gonna overcome it.
Well, here's my question: is where were they mining? Like, where were they mining before this? Like in the Delta Quadrant and the Gamma Quadrant?
Don't underestimate how big space is, dude. So
no, I don't underestimate how big space is. I'm just, this is one of those big things that's just like, yeah, we maybe could have not come across it before, but I mean, like, the Dominion spans a lot of the Gamma Quadrant. The Borg are all across the Delta Quadrant. So Vance is saying my net keeps glitching. Sorry, guys. No problem, V-Man. Thank you for joining us, though. It just be us two the boring old guys if it wasn't for you. So
yeah,
no problem.
Do you think? So anyway, do you think the people who created this are people we're familiar with? Like maybe the Klingons created this.
I hope not, because I feel like this is the only race that possibly could do this that we have encountered is the Iconians, which is the ancient race of like they're so ancient that
the one with the sleeping pods, that one.
No, the Iconians are the ones with the doorways that can go around the galaxy. And they found out Iconian.
I am the guardian of the galaxy.
Not that. There was an episode of Deep Space Nine on them. The Iconians were an ancient species. They were kind of like the Federation, thousands of years before the Federation was a thing. And Daniel Vance might know more than I will, and I can look up some of this information.
I remember these fucking.
You don't really ever see them except maybe in like Star Trek Online.
You're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay. 200,000 years ago. Okay, so the Iconians were a race 200,000 years ago.
Sorry.
The gateways allowed instantaneous travel over enormous distances, at least 70,000 light years. That is from Earth to where the edge of the galaxy of where Voyager was hurtled, because Voyager was hurtled 70,000 light years from Earth. So basically, the Iconians they're just an old superpower.
They made the jump mirrors. Was it that big tall dude who was able to stick his hands into the fucking he was sticking his hands into that big tall dude in TOS. Wesley Crusher was cool with him for a bit. Is that an Iconian? No. Oh, fuck,
no, I don't know if we've ever seen. I don't know if we've ever seen an Iconian. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to see if we've actually. I mean, I'm just reading a little bit here. 210 years by the Iconians were an ancient and highly advanced civilization that were presumably destroyed by. They were actually destroyed 200,000 years ago by an orbital bombardment of their homeworld Iconia, which is kind of stupid because if they're that big of a race, you figure just bombing their homeworld will not destroy them. But yeah, I mean, they were supremely. But what if this is like the Iconians, like kind of after their homeworld was bombed? What if they like became recluses and just pulled everything into whatever this barrier is, and this is them? Because if they kept developing technology over 200,000 years, past that, like, I mean, they could do something like this, but they want it. But because they were bombed, they want everybody else. Like they make this barrier because they don't want anyone else to bother them.
Ooh. Daniel Vance says there was a library in the original series with some mirrors that led to different times. McCoy was stuck in the far in the Neanderthal past. I'm trying to remember this. I think.
Yeah, say TOS is not my strong suit.
I love TOS, man.
No,
I
should go back and watch it just because.
There's loads on Netflix, by the way. Netflix is cut.
I own them all on Blu-ray, but I mean, it's just like it's hard for me sometimes to get through them. I don't know. I appreciate TOS for what it was. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just not my cup of tea. Next gen and on is kind of, and especially DS9. You know me, I'm a big DS9 fan, but DS9 is actually where I really, next gen is when I really got into it. But anyway, I would love for it to be the Iconians because it's a race that we've heard tons about in the deep canon and lore, but we've never actually seen or they have encountered. And it makes a lot of sense because they would be super advanced by now. So honestly,
yeah, you're right about that. 1,000 years further in the future for
200,000 years.
No, but 1,000 years from when we last.
Oh yeah,
met. Yeah. So I was thinking, if we do see the Iconians, do we need to put a face to them eventually?
I honestly feel like they could not. Like maybe they're non-corporeal now. Like
Okay.
maybe they're non-corporeal in that bubble. Like like they say, a lot of races that evolve into like non-corporeal beings eventually, they develop technology to make it so that they're not limited by matter anymore. They're just like non-corporeal.
I like that a lot. What's Daniel Vance saying now?
Race that took the crew of TNG, where the crew could only remember the chair they were. What? The race that took the crew of TNG, where the crew could only remember the chair they were experimented on, is another race that's as old as the Icon. Is that the one from season 2, like episode 1 or 2 or something like that?
Where I vaguely remember these episodes.
Is that the one where like the person got his arm cut off and then reattached because they were like experimenting with them or whatever? I'm trying to remember if that's the race you're talking about. Yeah, they come to them when they're sleeping, and then they, pull them through that little portal thingy, and then they experiment on them, and then they put them back by the morning. There was that episode of Voyager.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. You're right. Yeah, Daniel once says that. You got it. So yeah, look, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm running on empty here. So let's wrap this up. I just want to say.
I was just going to say, unless you have anything else to add. I mean,
no, not really. But I can't wait tomorrow because I really want to talk Peacemaker tomorrow. Today's episode was absolutely fantastic. Daniel Vance and I have both seen it, by the way.
I'm going to watch it once we're done here. I plan on sitting back and watching it.
Yeah, and then I want to talk a bit more Book of Boba Fett as well, as because the Kenobi poster has come out. It's amazing. People are losing their shit over a fucking poster. Fucking poster. But at least it confirms that it is coming out, which is good as well. As well as all the other stuff.
But what Zam was mentioning, but that is going to be on our joint podcast with No Budget Productions tomorrow, which is called the Weekly Summit. It's already scheduled, so if you go to our page and you see it there, you can click that reminder button and it'll let you know when we're on. It's going to be at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Zam, that's what, 4 a.m. for you?
4 a.m. for me, and I will be there for that. And I want to talk about Reacher as well. I do recommend that show. If you've seen Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise, you'll definitely like this show. It's got the guy from Titans in it, so that's double reason for you to watch it, Bobby Black. It's on Amazon Prime as well. Eight episodes, so it goes by a decent pace. 8 episodes, in my opinion, is perfect. It's just the perfect amount of episodes for a show, not to overstay its welcome, but keep you wanting more. Because I'm already gutted knowing that the Peacemaker is going to end next week, and I want more. I want more, but that 8 episodes is plenty.
But
yeah,
But
Exactly.
but yeah, so I mean that the weekly summit is where we get together, and so far confirmed on there is going to be me, Zam, V-Man, and Frank is going to be on there. We've also invited some of our other contributors to join us. So if any of them want to come on and talk for a little bit or chat, I mean, it's kind of, as I said, it's a summit. We all get around the table and we all talk, whatever we're going to talk about. So join us for that, because I mean, especially people who are cross no budget and NerdTube, both of our fans, because I mean, this is kind of what we're trying to do every week, to just kind of, just kind of collaborate a little bit more. Anyway, so I guess
Yeah,
that's
so
it.
subscribe to us, and you'll be able to join us tomorrow for our weekly summit where we talk about everything that's happened these last few days when it comes to media and gaming and films and television shows. All the big ones: Boba Fett, Star Trek, Peacemaker, you name it.
Well, there you go.
So I'm just adding to it.
I know I was getting to that. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So with all that being said, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you maybe kind of sort of heard of. That is Zam's Birdie Butt. And we are out of here. Goodbye, everybody.